My goodness me. It turns out I've been muted this whole time. Anyway. Whatever. I was talking about stuff. Anyway, it's all good. We're just working out the kinks. Whoopsies. Alright, that appears to be purged now. So I can reconnect this. I thought that I made sure that I wasn't muted, but that was a bit silly of me. I relocated all of that signage to the hub using a blueprint. And I made it a bit nicer looking. This should be flowing better. I may have to come back and... The reason why that'll be backing up a bit is because what's happened over... What's going on here? Uranium? Why are we lacking uranium? Why is that missing? What the hell? Oh my goodness. Why were those two missing? Okay. Oh, I think I know why. Because those were the... I don't know. I do not know why. That was a strange one, but another kink has been ironed out. All of these are running good. 100. That's the main thing. Yeah, so because my drone ports were picking up so much uranium before I even kicked them into action, this set of drones, which really is only supposed to be 300 per minute, is putting in way more than 300 per minute. But that's fine for the meantime. Not worried about that. Okay. Oh, it is taking off. Okay. Those will take a little bit to work out their voltage. Alright. Stuff going everywhere now. So I think we go do that other train station and then it's literally waiting to see what other things I've made mistakes on, I guess. But this is something that needs to be done, so I'm going to do it. I had a look at this save file just before when I loaded it. 91 hours. So hopefully I can have the nuclear completely up and running in 100 hours. Would be nice. I'd like to be running off a Well, right now I'm running off legitimate power, actually. Granted, I've used that backup waste disposal a couple of times whilst I work out the kinks in my system, but yeah, pretty soon it won't be used. Hello there, Shadow. Had my mic muted earlier. Is it working now? All right. Whoops. Would someone be able to do me the kind favor of confirming that you can hear me talking? Interesting. Weird. It says that it's working. We're going to turn these anyway, so start at the center because I think that's the easiest. I remember we had to go back to here. I think. And then run that, I think. The issue was let me just go check how I did that. I did it differently. I did it totally differently. Okay. Then we just went to like... Okay. Should be able to make it look the same. Let me just check. I'm going to type in the chat. I'm not sure. Not sure if it is or not. Might just be a bunch of lurkers, which is completely fine. Would I go to like halfway? I think that's what I did, right? Ah, thank you, Grizz. Appreciate it. Oh, good. I just remember one time I was streaming and I was talking and I was responding to people's messages in the chat, and then after a while someone said, "Does this guy ever respond?" And then I realized that my mic wasn't working. So it's not ideal. Definitely only going to do like one quadrant tonight, because when you do one quadrant, it's like takes it out of you doing these pipes. And then this next one, I think I just needed this to be there because it's right over the edge. One thing I definitely need to do though is put this in. Okay. Now, if I do get this quadrant in, though, that means another 75 nuclear power plants online and only 75 more to go. But never underestimate the amount of troubleshooting that might pop up. We don't know what's going to happen with this current setup. Maybe there's some big mistakes about to show their face. Hopefully not. There's been a few mistakes so far, but thankfully they've only been very minor. Alright, and that looks a bit strange. What the heck's going on there? Do I need to make it come off this particular brick to begin with? Maybe I do. Get out of it. Yeah, that definitely looks better. What about this one? That one looks fine. It won't matter now because we'll use our blueprint going forward. first of all, we will have to do this. Oh, I shouldn't have got rid of that. Put that there. Very finicky because this part is square on the world grid, and this part is where the curve begins. So on this particular tile, it may look like it's square, but it's actually ever so slightly not square. So if I build off it, it'll make these pipes connect in a funny spot. Anyways, just have to get these in, and then it's I can use blueprints from there for the rest of the pipe, the ports. Anyway, again, all the supports get deleted afterwards. They're just there for the initial setup phase. I'll probably get rid of this now. Ooh, not that until I put this in. Okay, now I can get rid of it. Wait, I don't even need that. What am I doing? I don't even need that single pipe there. Well, anyway. Hopefully I don't screw around like that on the next one. Get this bit in. Frog velocity. I can't motivate myself for such projects without an official task. I wish I had more tiers, as it's just too easy to beat if you know what you're doing. Huh, fair enough. Yeah, well, that's why I've set myself this goal of using every single node in the whole map legitimately. Legitimately as in, like, obviously I'm using quality of life mods, but achievable with vanilla assets and vanilla, like, game rules. Plus 300 nuclear plants is the most I've ever built. I've done 250 before, but 300 is new, and I may end up doing more with plutonium, depending on how I decide to manage the power later on in the game. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Frog. It does become a little bit grindy sometimes with big projects. That's why I take it one step at a time. Setting your own goals doesn't really click for me, sadly. Fair enough. Yep. Come out to here. So you know what we definitely want to do first? Is we want to work out where we're doing this. I only have to click the building now, which is brilliant. You didn't even build one nuclear plant in your last 2 playthrough, and you build 300. Were you playing with mods or vanilla? I mean, you don't need to go nuclear, do you, to finish the game? Like, to finish Project Assembly, anyway. You don't need to go nuclear. Do I just go around and do every single one of these now? Don't want to do this one though. Wait. This one is a skip. Vanilla, yeah, cool. Have you ever done? You've never done nuclear? It's fun. I've built my first playthrough. I did 24 nuclear plants, completely vanilla. Then my second playthrough was still in update 3. In early access, I used mods, but built all the machines to build a max nuclear build. But then they updated the game and changed all the recipes, so I didn't end up doing it. See ya, dude. Can you maybe turn around and show the whole thing for a few seconds? Yep. There you go. It's like that. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but I'm on the way to having it all online. I've currently got half of the machines running, so I've got 150 running at the moment. And it's not just hanging there in the air. I've got anti-gravity pads on the bottom. It's all being held up with pseudoscience. Oh, I should call it pseudo-sci-fi, actually. Well, it's just sci-fi. It's not pseudoscience. It's being held up by science fiction. Perfect. That's what it is. Held in the air by science fiction. Not just floating in there for no reason. You did nuclear, about 2 or 3 reactors. Okay. Well, have fun at work, mate. I've finished my work for the day, and now I'm relaxing. Relaxing by building stuff in Satisfactory somehow. Okay, so how did I do this again? I went like this. There's a bit to it. Unfortunately, there's a bit to it. Thanks, mate. That's all I need to do for now. So we go like this, I believe. We line it up like this, yeah. what do you think, right, about this plan that I just had in my head just then? So, obviously I'm playing this without any mods, that aren't quality of life, game-breaking mods. So stuff that helps you build quicker, but nothing adding to the game like machines or extra nodes or using any more summer sleeps than I'm allowed. So with that in mind, like I'm not going to use any daisy chaining of machines or anything that's not actually in the game. With that being the case, I was just thinking about troubleshooting, and ideally I'd like to troubleshoot once it's up and running. I'd like to have this system running for about 10 hours before I release the save file to other people, because I don't want to release a save file that has bugs in it, you know, or I release a save file that I think's fine, and then like a couple of hours of running it, I find mistakes, and then I have to like tell people, oh, that save file that I lent you, by the way, I made a mistake on this belt, or I forgot to put a power shard in this water extractor somewhere, and it screws the whole system, but you don't notice it for a few hours. Anyway, so my point is, if I get a mod that speeds up the in-game time, so once I've got like all of this plugged in and all of it running, if I just speed up the game in-game time to like times 10, I think there's mods that you can get that do that, right? Then I can troubleshoot it for essentially 10 in-game hours without having to wait 10 in-game hours. You reckon that would be within the rules of like only quality of life mods? I think it would be. I mean, I could just like leave the game running overnight and just come back in the morning, and the problem is if you don't catch a problem as it happens, it can like snowball out of control, and then everything can go bad, and then it can be hard to find the problem. But if you catch the problem like as it happens, it's easier to troubleshoot the system. Anyways, just thinking about potentially doing that. Alright, I guess I'll put some more pipes in. Alright, before I connect any water to this, I want to make sure that I've actually connected the waste line. Oh, we don't want to use straight here, that's right. We want to use normal belts. That one's fine to be straight, but yeah. Gotta be done. have to belt this to the next train station, which is only like all the way over there. So obviously now that all of my nuclear fuel rods are getting brought in, but I'm not actually running all of my power plants, they're definitely going to back up like they have here. That and the fact that I pre-filled a lot of them. But once they start running, they should... Oh no, it'll probably look like this forever, actually. Because I'm making slightly more than I need. Only very slightly, though. So I need 60... Is it 60 per minute? Yeah, I need 60 fuel rods per minute to run 300 power plants, and I'm making 60.9 per minute. We're getting there. We'll get there eventually. I just have to belt this in, and I always forget how this belts in. This should be the last one I have to belt in for the nuclear waste. Getting closer. Okay, I definitely want... So this is the one. Okay. Now, always forget how this goes, but I definitely want to leave that belt there because this merger has to be changed. Just delete these, not a biggie. Put our merger this way. Now that belt there is not really connected to here. It just looks like it is for symmetry and aesthetic purposes. Oh, it is using some of them. Okay. I can't remember exactly how this... I always forget. Means I have to go over here. I should take a screenshot of it so I don't have to go back and forth again. So it's like... One indent in from the thingy. We'll just save that just in case I forget exactly where that is. What are you up to? 92 hours? Am I going to get this online before the 100-hour mark? Maybe. You never know, though. You never know what could go awry. Just going to go down and have a quick look at my factory and make sure there's nothing glaring. No glaring issues. Just don't really need to look over here. I can backtrack. This is the most important thing here, the dealing with the waste. I've already had to sort out a couple of things. So essentially what I have here is 4 separate production lines for processing the waste. Each one is 8 machines. Yeah. So each, like, imagine this is 4 separate production lines for the waste. 8 machines in each. Each one takes 750 waste per minute, exactly. And mildly nervous about doing a nuclear waste processing factory that works off exactly the amount that it can do. But, you know, hopefully it should work because it's running off 750 belts, not 1200 belts. So anyways, each one of these will do 1 quadrant of my 300. That's why this section here is not running any at the moment. Because 2 of these, this one's running at full capacity. One of them's taking the full capacity at the moment. Which one? It'll be this one. It's taking 750 per minute at the moment. These 2 are running at like half capacity. And then this one's running at 0% because nothing's going into it yet. So if I check this machine, as long as this machine doesn't overflow, yeah, as long as this machine isn't overflowing with uranium, which it appears that it's not, then we're doing alright. But they are running at 100%. But they need to be running at 100%. So we shall see. We shall see. We'll only really be able to truly test it once it's all up and running. We'll have a quick look at our... Okay, this is looking better now that I put those smart splitters on. These lines will be stuttering on purpose because it's getting more than it needs in quick-wire. Obviously, I put a few shards, not shards, the summer sloops to be able to run 300. If you don't use any summer sloops and you do the max uranium build, you can run 252 nuclear plants with 2100 uranium. So you can either use summer sloops for somewhere in the uranium processing line to get more, or you can do some of these shenanigans, which I am not going to do, and you can actually create more uranium out of bauxite using SAM ore. But I'm not doing any of that business. I mean, I will be using converters later on with SAM ore, obviously, and use all the SAM ore, but not to make uranium. Oh. Let's get back on task, shall we? This last waste needs to be belted in properly. So it shouldn't be that hard to do. Bring this pipe across first. Actually, no, I won't. I will do this. Doesn't really matter. I guess I had to clear the... I don't want to connect this yet. I mean, I could. But I'm not going to. Yeah, that's how it is. Cool, so this will be taking some of the waste away, but none of these will be running until I do the final quadrant of pipes. Can't remember how many I needed to do. Okay. Certainly is a little bit of a grind, isn't it? But that's the price you pay when you set yourself 300 nuclear plants to put up in the sky in a ring. That is the price you pay. They're not connected to the actual power system though yet. So I'm not worried about that. Because I actually still have to go around and connect all of these power lines up. Which is another reasonably large task. Does anybody here like the game Command and Conquer series? And more to my point, does anyone appreciate the music from that game? The series of games, Red Alert, Command and Conquer. I really like the soundtrack to Command and Conquer Red Alert. Hell March being one of the signature songs from there. Iconic song. I would like to play it right now, but if I did that, my stream would get cancelled for copyright. But I'm thinking of putting it as my music for when I finally finish this and make a cinematic about it. such a good song. Oops. It's almost like I forgot how friggin' grindy this part of the game was. This doing the wait, I don't need to do... Yes, I do. Man, I've already done 2 quadrants. And I feel like this one's just... It's dragging, man. This pipe work. Oh. Make it end. Make it stop. There's only so much I can put in with blueprints and copy paste. Some of it just has to be done by hand. Especially this amount of curved piping. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Do we do it? Do we do it? Do it. Has to be done, doesn't it? I know that this goes here, everyone. Am I crazy for doing this? There's a slight amount of lag in the game now. Like on connecting belts and things. So sometimes it makes it easier to misclick a pipe. Which adds to the pipe madness. Which I definitely have. Oh my lord. Putting in the pipes, putting in the pipes. How many pipes am I putting in? Yes. The answer to that is yes. Okay, we might do the end one strategy. That way I can kind of What? What is wrong with you? What? Why wouldn't that do that before? I think I had this problem before with the pipes. Not only are pipes jerks when you have water going through them, but they're just jerks like in general. Let's connect this one and leave a gap. Did I just mess up? My goodness me. You can see that why this takes so long to do. Because you can only do this for so long. You can't do this in one hit. You can't just sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna pipe in every single one of these nuclear plants in one sitting. There's no way that you're gonna do that. Like I'm fatigued from this already. I've had enough. I only just started doing it and I've had enough. I'm over it. But I'll persist for a little bit. Like I'll get maybe this one side of this one quadrant in. Yeah. Enough. How you doing, 1, 2, 3? Looks like enough pipe to go from Earth to the moon and back. I mean, it's a lot of pipes. Definitely enough to drive one crazy. Are we in the middle here? We can fill in this one maybe. Every second one will fill in. And the reward at the end will be that we'll fill in the gaps. Because if you go from like a pipe support that doesn't have a pipe on the other end, it goes red until you point directly at it. But if you've got pipes on either side, I think they go in like real easy. Boom, boom. Yeah, they snap without the red, they just snap. So that last bit's going to be like speed piping. You need to give yourself these little rewards. Goodness me. Quality gameplay. I guess what somebody could get out of this is like watching me do this and go, that looks shit. I'm not doing that. As you get towards the end though, you get motivated by the fact that there's one less pipe to go every time I hook up a nuclear plant. You'll never guess what is next. It's more pipes. Oh, I didn't do the... whatever. Well guys, if you look down below, you'll notice that the scenery is slowly changing to the blue crater, so there's something different. And the constant ticking now that we've got radiation here, the light ticking of the radiation sound that's constantly in the background, that assists you in speeding up the process of getting driven insane. Oh, goodness me. Why am I doing this? I don't think there's any quicker way to do it either. I think you've got to put all the pipes in. Maybe maybe I could have got a quarter of this as a blueprint on Satisfactory calculator and then rotated it and did it around, but that would have taken so much messing around, and I probably would have got it slightly incorrect without realizing, and then just, yeah, anyway, that's not gonna happen. Probably possible to do. I mean, yeah, it would be possible, but plus I would have missed out on all the fun of piping, and I wouldn't want to miss out on that. Where are we? Looks like I'm just putting them all in at this stage. I'm not putting that section in till I come back. I feel like this is definitely more of a in the morning with a nice coffee kind of thing. do. Probably not the greatest thing to like live stream, really, but whatever. I think once I've done this, I'm going to go have a look around the factory again and make sure stuff's running smoothly. Since it's been running for another hour or so. Shouldn't be too... What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Please tell me I've made a horrible mistake. I mean, yes, good. Whew. I thought the world just ended just then. I thought I'd like put in all those pipes. We're okay. We're okay. Everyone just calm down. We're fine. We're absolutely fine. How did I do this? I think I went like this. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah. That's how that one looks. Yep. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, that's how that one looks. I am going to get rid of these anyway, but... I'm going to come across with the calculator map and delete all these. Whatever they're called. Pipeline supports. There is a minor little bit more to do though here. Then we'll do a bit of factory troubleshooting. And I might come in and finish the other side of this quadrant another time off stream. Because I can tell you right now, I don't feel like doing it right this second. I definitely do not. So right now I'm going to be, because these machines are running and they're connected to a power pole behind them on the machine, they will be consuming nuclear fuel rods and producing waste. However, they won't be adding any more power to my grid because I haven't added them onto the grid yet. I don't think I'm going to, like, right this second, until I get the other half of this quadrant up online. I don't want to add a weird amount to the grid. I want to, when I finish this quadrant, add another 75 nuclear plants to the grid. So hopefully there's not any really bad problems. I would call a bad problem something where I have to like completely rebuild a factory because I've done something like that wrong with the numbers. But if there's just a problem where there's a mistake somewhere, where I realize what that mistake was, like just earlier I realized I didn't put some power shards and some water extractors. I don't mind that at all. That's fine. Expect those sorts of things to happen. If I've made a massive calculation error, that's when things start to go bad. But I feel like I've done pretty good on the planning and math. Famous last words, I know. Now I've gone and said that, I've ruined it. But no, I'm not actually suspicious in any way about that sort of stuff. But it would just be my luck to bloody start talking about how I think that I've planned it quite well, and then just find out that I've absolutely screwed something up big time. Happens in this game. You just have to accept it as part of the game and think of it as a fun challenge. Is that a graphical? Oh, never mind. Alright, that's that. Oh, wait, one more. Couple more. Okay. 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 Alright. Alright, so we did 1/2 of one quadrant of piping for this afternoon. And a little bit of prep for... Okay, why is that not getting any water? We have our first issue. Oh no, maybe it's just taking... Actually, you know what? This is such a long pipe that it just takes that long to get there. It really does. You can see there's a little bit of water coming in now. Because for that to be able to get water, the whole pipe has to fill up, yeah. Oh, and I think I only connected a piece of it just then too. Hundred, yeah. Save that. Alright. That's enough piping for me for one afternoon. I'm going to have a quick little overview of what we did. So did from like just over there to... I mean, it doesn't look like that much piping when you just fly over it like this, but my goodness, it really is. Later on tonight, after I have dinner and stuff, I might come back and throw these pipes in, but see how I feel. That's a bit done anyway, which is good. So, get rid of this. I've saved it a few times, but won't hurt to save it again. Now, let's go have a look at our factory and see how we're looking. Actually, chewing through this uranium now, which is good. Kind of what we wanted to see. We are fully stocked up here on the... It's only just started to back up on this belt here. So hopefully our drone is inbound very soon here. Should be. Cannot unload. Oh, you know what? I know what that is. That's actually not an issue right now. He'll be sitting over here at the hub. Yep, he's chilling. Oh, he's actually unloading now. Cool, because we're making so many nuclear fuel rods that we're not using them all up yet. So, good to see. That's what we wanted to see. Tomorrow morning when I'm feeling a bit creative, I might make this look a bit nicer. A bit fancier or something like that. What's going on with this train? Oh, he's moving. Okay. You know what's funny? You know what I'm gonna have to do when I share this save file is put like straight away put like radiation suit and all that in here, because when people okay, because when people like join, once I finally share the save file, they'll spawn in here and they'll like just instantly die from all the radiation. From all of this. That's pretty funny. Anyway, that's where we're sitting. I've actually used 74 sloops already. Rightio. I've got more to do. I just haven't added it yet, and I've got a few points up here, which is that the 1200 belts don't work and pipes are still jerks. They just are. Other than that, let's take a quick look at our grid. The grid though is fantastic. What is amusing? Why does my max consumed go up and down? Is that because of... Why is that? Is that the drones and the trains making that happen? I think it might be. Whether a drone is actually in action or out of action, I think that's what that is. But isn't it pretty funny that I'm already using 125,000 megawatts of power just on my factories that make nuclear happen? Granted, I'm using probably way more trains than I would have needed to if I'd set it up differently. And I'm making a few more things than I need to. Just a little bit extra. Wandering Zimbo. Yes, Wandering Zimbo. Yes, it's creeping up. But bear in mind that the power consumption right now at 125,000 is not going to change anymore with the nuclear build that I have. And I still have another 150 power plants that I can hook up to power. So this here will double. My production is going to turn to 750,000. So essentially 750,000 megawatts is what I'll have. And to run that 750,000 megawatts is going to be a negative 25,000. Sorry, 125,000. Minus 125. So I've got like a net profit of 625,000. But also bear in mind, I am making, which I might put a sign just here. I will be making let's put a sign. Let's make a semi-big sign for it, actually. I'm actually going to be making... Where are we? These bad boys. And I'm going to be making 26.666 per minute. So, is the factory finished, you asked? The factory itself, yes. The factories required to make nuclear are finished. The thing that I need to do now in order to have the nuclear up online is I need to hook up the piping, essentially the piping, and troubleshoot. So just before, I don't know if you just joined us just then, Zimbo or not, but I was just did all these pipes down to my left. And for this quadrant, this southern quadrant, I've had enough piping this afternoon. I can't do anymore. So I need to pipe in all of this side of this quadrant, and then I need to do all the rest here, which is a whole entire another quadrant, which is this bit here needs to get done. So a bit of piping, but over, yeah, oh joy, so the easy part. Yeah. It's easy, but it's tedious, and yeah. I've already figured out that I need a pump on every single one of these lines to make it work properly. I think it's got to do with just the sheer amount of distance in the pipes, not so much the head lift. But that's working. Every time I look at my power grid, it's holding firm at 350,000, so the water throughput is working very well. So that's good news. But yeah, in regards to the factory, it is all done. It is mind-numbing, the piping, but you know, you relax and do it, and then it's kind of rewarding. You look back and go, man, I've done all that pipe work. What a crazy person. But this here is going to get deleted. This is part of my temporary setup to just hold the waste while I was, you know, dealing with it. So I'm probably going to sign off in a sec. Give you the quick tour, because there's not really that much to tour. Over there is a bunch of just nodes I picked up. Nuclear nodes, deuterium and things, just sulfur, picking up stuff from basically all over the place. I've tried to keep that very neat and simplistic and minimalistic. So these are coming in like this. Under my factories, I have water extractors for the most part. Everything's grounded in a very simplistic way, obviously, other than what's up here, because this is being held up by sci-fi. It's being held in the air by science fiction anti-gravity pads. I have a whole bunch of steel getting made here. The only thing about the steel here is I'm actually making a fair bit more than I need for nuclear, which is fine because it's going to get used eventually. But essentially, most of these rows have been tapped into, these pipes. I'm using concrete and steel to make the pipes with the new 1.0 recipe. So that's all this. So this is like iron getting made into steel with all of this coal that's coming from underneath here. There's 3 pure nodes, and I'm getting a bunch of coal from elsewhere as well. Whole shit ton of steel coming in here. 7 rows of 900 and a spare row of 210, which I'm not even using yet. What are you saying? Will 26 nuclear per minute be enough to run all 300 nuclear power plants? Oh, I'll show you. Since you asked that question, I'll go back over there and show you. Because you may have misunderstood. This here, Zimbo, this is the plutonium fuel rods that are getting made out of the nuclear waste. So there's a whole bunch of processing that goes into that. The final 3 stages of processing are what I'm looking at now. So initially the waste goes into these blenders. It then goes through these particle accelerators, the non-fissile, and then it goes through the final stage of these assemblers into the plutonium fuel rods. And that's how I can put these into the resource sink to have no waste, no nuclear waste. So that's the plutonium side of things. There's also a lot of supporting factories that go into it, but these are the last 3 stages of it. Like, to make pressure conversion tubes is a whole process. So that's the plutonium. The actual fuel rods themselves are getting made over here. So this row of manufacturers here on my left is the first stage. So they're taking all the uranium, turning it into these encased uranium cells. Obviously, there's a whole lot more that goes into this, all the supporting products. And then these uranium fuel rods are the ones that are running the 300 nuclear plants. So of that, that's how many I'm making. So you need 60 of them to run 300 nuclear plants. I'm producing 60.9 because I always like to overfeed my systems. Using 2100 uranium, which is all on the map. And in order to boost the production of the fuel rods, I've used 28 summer sloops. You can see that in these first few machines I'm using the summer sloops. How many did I need to put in? I needed to put in a bunch, but yeah. That's what it calculated it at. Glad you enjoy the look of it. Thanks. But yeah, that's the answer to your question about the nuclear rods. But yeah, so all the supporting stuff is getting made down here. Big belt busters happening. I tried to keep everything looking real neat because I'll be honest with you, I reckon like lots of belts running like this, it looks really cool. You got me? The waste is being reused to turn back into the fuel rods. Yeah, so there's a difference between plutonium fuel rods and uranium fuel rods. Plutonium is the next step. That's all good, dude. If you haven't dealt with nuclear like setups, yeah, there's uranium. You can process the waste into, so you cannot destroy this waste. You have to process it or store it. Once you've got plutonium fuel rods though, you can put them in the resource sink. The whole reason I mentioned that at the start was because I actually can use these in more nuclear power plants if I decide to do that. Those nuclear plants, if I decide to use these, if and when, they will produce even more nuclear waste that I have to deal with. But it's plutonium waste that they create. And then there's a whole nother like production chain to deal with the plutonium waste. And that's when you get into fixonium, which is, you want to talk about pseudoscience. I love it though. I reckon it's hilarious. Then you get fixonium. So like, just to illustrate it, this will go, actually let's just use these ones. No, I'm not using them. I'm sinking them. However, I am using them as drone fuel. By the way, if you ever get to the stage where you have plutonium fuel rods, you put them in trucks and your trucks go forever. They're amazing for fuel for vehicles. Yeah. So we go to plutonium waste. I'll just simplify it for you. And then we go to we turn the fixonium waste into these fixonium, and then the fixonium gets turned into the fixonium fuel rods, which are these. Now this, turning from this into this is easy. You just put them in a power plant. Turning it from plutonium into fixonium is like a whole nother chain of production, which is going to use up resources on the map. And that's why I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do yet. But the good thing about these, when you finally get these, is they're not very efficient in the nuclear plants. But the amazing thing about them is they do not produce any nuclear waste. So if you do get to that point, you're good to go. But to make them is a hefty production line using a lot of resources and power. So it's a decision process I have to go through when I start getting a lot later in this project. But yeah, just one last quick look over. So everything here is to make the nuclear fuel rods and process the waste. So we've got steel under here, iron, and we have like copper wire making basic products like rotors and things. We've got limestone here. We have like modular frames getting made, heavy modular frames. Wire getting made into rotors here. This is a caterium that's getting made, getting mixed with all this copper here, which just goes over there to make the quick wire. And then over this side, we have a whole bunch of like oil processing to make rubber and plastic. We have over this big area here that I'm pinging is all my aluminium production. A lot of the rubber and aluminium comes over here to get made into like circuit boards under here, AI limiters under here. We've got quartz crystal, and that's all going in to make these crystal oscillators under here. We have a bunch of components making radio control units here. A lot of that comes up these belts, a whole bunch of aluminium and things. Comes along in here. We're making all the quick wire here. Sulfuric acid. Cheap silica getting made with quartz and limestone. The pressure conversion tubes are just here, which are a really complex component when you start going like backtracking through the production line. So these are like pretty simple at the end because it's just an assembler. But if you go through the process of making fused modular frames and radio control units, it's a pretty complex item. These are 1/2 of the plutonium fuel rods, by the way. Fused modular frames are here. The first and second stage of nuclear, the uranium for the fuel rods is here. All these manufacturers along here. Obviously, they take a bunch of components that I've made down over in that factory. And that's it, apart from this one kind of satellite little factory over here. And that's over there because the nitrogen node is down there. And I'm making nitric acid here, pumping it all the way up. That's it. Aside from the craziness of all the trains bringing in all the water, the trains is a bit of a silly thing, but it's I like it because it's crazy. And that's it. I'm actually kind of surprised that you will see a lot of oh dear. Had to go and why is that? Wait a second. What? It can't be right. Why is it not getting aluminium casings? But the aluminium casings is like... What? Something's gone wrong here. Why is that? Okay. What? So this is a weird bug. This is not getting aluminium casings for some reason. What the hell? Is that a smart splitter? Oh. Wait a second. I set this up wrong? Wait. No. Well, there we go. I made a mistake. That should say any. And now it's got it all. I just had the smart splitter configured poorly. Where's that going? Oh, over this way. The trains is the best part. Oh, thanks, dude. I agree. That's backed up. That, yeah. That's fine. I'm not worried about, like, little things like that. I think... Have I messed this one up as well? No. That one's correct. If I make little mistakes, like... Because I do so many things, and I just missed... I accidentally set this smart splitter up incorrectly. Yeah, that... I would have eventually have found the problem. But because everything's running at not max capacity yet, it's not super critical. My main concern at the moment is... Oh, dear me. Wait, what machine did I just look at? Nope, we're okay. Whew. Yeah, as long as this machine here never backs up with uranium, we're looking pretty crash hot. Which it isn't. I was meant to look at this machine, but I looked at this machine, which should be filled, and I got a bit worried. But yeah, that's probably going to do me for this afternoon. Got a fair bit done. A bit of troubleshooting and a bit of hyping, and that'll do me. I plan on, hopefully by this weekend, having this thing to the point where I can make a video and share the save file for people. And I'll share all my blueprints I used as well. But that's it for now. Have a good one, everyone. Have a good evening or day, whatever it is, and I'll catch you later.